Hey, it's Manuel. So I'm going to be showing you what elements you need to focus on when optimizing your designs and how to actually optimize them. You learn what to aim for, like the standard, the default, and all of those things, right? And we are going to be using this email design as a reference, right? So the first thing to actually look out for in terms of the legibility is the font size, right? And ideally, you want to aim for the body copy. For the body copy, you want to aim between 24, let's say 20 to 24, right? So it shouldn't be smaller than this, right? 20, right? And uh you could also do 24, right? And the reason being that because um most viewers are going to open on their mobile, right? Anything smaller than 20 is going to be very tiny, right? Which will be very difficult to read, right? So for your body font, you want to aim for 20 to 24, right? And then for your header, ideally for your header, you want to go like probably double font, the body font, e.g. if the body font is 24, you could do 48. In this case I did 84, right? You can see that I did 84, but this is something like you just kind of have to look at it and know what looks good, right? But you want a very clear difference between the header and the body, so that you can direct the reader's eyes. Because let's just say the body font, the header is like this, like you are going to read it together with this one, which is going to actually mess up with the idea behind the copy, right? But if it's like this, if it's big like this, then you are going to read this first, take a quick just a slight break, then read this one, which is what we are actually looking for. We want to direct the reader's eye from here to here smoothly, to the code smoothly, to the image smoothly, and then to the call to action. All right. Next thing you also want to look at in terms of legibility and in terms of optimizing for legibility and readability is actually the CTA button, right? Which is this. Now, you'd see most CTA button look like this. Hold on, let me quickly just make a quick example just so you understand what I'm talking about, right? You would mostly see CTA button look like this. Just hold on, right? You'd mostly see CTA buttons look like this, and um, you'd also see something as small as this. And this is not me even being exaggerating here, but you'd have seen CTA buttons that look like this, like actually very, very, very small. And you'd notice that this and this doesn't really convert well, right? Because it's going to be very, very small, right? It's going to be very, very small. We are most viewers are viewing on mobile, right? So if okay, so on desktop, this CTA might actually look very big, very, very big, but on mobile is going to look very small. And one of the things we are looking at in terms of CTA button is to make sure it's very noticeable, right? You want to make sure it's very noticeable so that your audience know that okay, so to click this, this is where the CTA button is, right? And if your CTA button is very, very small, then it's going to be difficult for your audience, for the reader, to actually notice that all right, so this is the CTA button. All right, so by default you want to aim for minimum minimum 30 300 width size by 70 height, right? You can see it over here that let's zoom in. Okay, don't know if you can see that, but this is 300 by 70. You could also come to this right corner and you see it 300 by 17, right? Sometimes you could go higher than this, right? Let's say the CTA copy said something like goes like this. Let's say it goes like this. Let's say shop coffee for your upcoming, I don't know, blah blah blah, right? So let's say the CTA is very long. You're not going to stack them inside the button, right? So you obviously make this guy a whole lot longer, right? And also wider. Then you could then you can extend this like this, right? You could make this guy a 500, right? Make this guy a 500. Then this is where what I talked about earlier, concerning the font size, right? Because we don't want to have two lines here, so we could make um the font size smaller, right? And probably take it to regular. But let's just leave it like that. We can do 20, right? Because that way we are still maintaining the legibility and also making sure it looks good, right? So you could do something like this. So this is something you should take note. Depending on the copy, right? Your CTA button could actually be way bigger, right? In terms of maximum, you could go as big as you want. But if the CTA copy is just a very, let's say, two words, right? You still want to stay minimum 300 by 700, right? 300 by 700, which most CTAs usually shop these three three words max, right? So you want to pay attention to that. Now the third way, right, is to optimize the images. Yep, the images. Now, because you're always your readers are viewing in mobile, you don't want to use more than three columns, right? For example, let's say this is our image, right? For some people, it's going to be really, really small. Like, all right, so just pardon me. That was I did some mask here, so that it looks good. But you could see some people do images and make them just look way small. Hold on a sec. I want to get this guy to get okay. You will see some people, you will see some email designs have very, very tiny image, right? And in terms of brand identity, one of the way to kind of nail or make sure your emails are on brand is actually to showcase the product, right? Because your product is actually the visual representation of your brand. Now, if your products are very little or probably very difficult to see or clearly understand, right? It's going to be difficult for your readers to tell how appealing your product is, right? Because obviously the goal is to show them the product. So if the products are not very, very clear visible, so it's kind of you shouldn't have shown them before, right? So you want to stick with a very clear and bold product image, right? Also, same thing here. Shouldn't be more than two. Shouldn't be more than two columns, right? Also, when doing product recommendations, you shouldn't do more than two columns. Like when I mean two columns, e.g., you see it something like, let me take this guy to um. All right, so let's So you want to avoid something like this, right? And the reason is it's just going to make the product a whole lot smaller, right? And very difficult to see, right? So you always want to stick with the two column, right? It's always better. So it's very visible to the readers. You want to focus on spacing. Yeah, so this alone could actually spice up your work a lot. Right now, if you notice, you would notice that there are spaces around this design, just where my cursor is hovering around. Like you can see this, right? You can see the spacing here. You can see the spacing here, right? You can see the spacing here. You can see the spacing here, spacing here, right? You can see the spacing here. You can see the spacing here. Now, why do you think that um why most people don't really actually notice this is because they feel like it doesn't make any difference. But the thing with design is you can actually always test legibility. Now let's do a bit of experiments here now. So let's say you rank this up like this. All right. Now I need you to compare these two things side by side. Now you notice that with this one, it's very difficult for your readers to actually know the next step, right? Because they're all choked up together, right? So, one of the things or the disadvantage of not giving enough spacing is actually you won't be able to direct your reader's eyes smoothly, right? Because now look at this, the way it is, right? You can see this, you can see how it's looking, right? Now, but if there's enough space, you give your readers enough time to actually digest your emails, right? So that's kind of like the fourth thing you want to look out for. Also, something else you'd want to pay attention to in terms of legibility to kind of optimize your email design for legibility is contrast. Right. So basically, contrast is just um, giving a clear difference, right? Stating a clear difference. Also, something else you'd want to pay attention to in terms of legibility to kind of optimize your email design for legibility is contrast. Right. So basically, contrast is just um, giving a clear difference, right? Stating a clear difference. And this is a way to actually improve readability. And I'm going to show you an example, right? So, one thing you are going to see with most people is that, let's say, this CTA button now, right? You would see that um, if you use black for this place, right, for the CTA button color, you are going to see that it's going to be very difficult for your readers to actually tell that this is a CTA button, right? And this is also for the text, right? Now this is this color. So uh let's say this was a let me see which color is gonna be a lot difficult to read. Okay, so generally they're all very easier to read, but so let's just say this guy is, let's say he's like a red or something, right? Right, so let's say if this color, the background color was actually red, right? You wouldn't want to make this guy this color, right? You wouldn't want to make this guy this color, right? Instead, you will make it a white, right? That way people can actually read it, right? This particular contrast issue is actually a very big mistake I see, like a lot when it comes to designing, when it comes to email designs, right? Now, the reason is, you would agree with me that it's easier to read this giddy up as compared to when it's this, right? Most readers won't want to strain themselves trying to pick up what these things are. And so this is how it affects your design or conversions long term. So let's say an email designer, rather, let's say your reader opens your email today and then they found it difficult to read your emails. They open your emails again the next, let's say after 3 days, and the same thing, it was difficult for them to read. Now, on the third or the fourth email open, or when they see your email the fourth time in their inbox, now their subconscious mind is like, it's already okay, these guys' emails are very poor, right? I can't actually read it. Now, with that mindset or with that shift in mindset, they're not going to open your emails, right? But it didn't start that day. It started from when it came to their awareness that your emails are very poor in terms of legibility, right? Then you notice a low conversion, then you also start noticing deliverability issues. You see how this kind actually just be tracked down to a very, very poor conversion, right? So you want to always ace your contrast at the first time, right? And yeah, you could actually do text contrast, which is the color between the color of the font as against the color of the background, right? Same thing with the CTA, the color of the CTA button as opposed to the color of the background, right? Same thing with your fonts and everything, right? So something else is also the CTA color, right? For example, now, so let's say this was orange. You cannot do you can't do red, right? It's not going to make sense, right? Now let me quickly show you, just so you know I'm not exaggerating. Like, let me show you an actual email from a brand, right? Just hold on a sec. All right, so look at this email now, right? You can tell that, see, this is okay, but now look at this. On a yellow background, they are going with a purple, right? And it's going to be very difficult for readers to see this, right? You can also see that, but instead you could actually go for something more gentle, right? You can see how legible this is, right? You can see how legible. Like, you want to go for a bright color against a dark color, right? Or a dark color against a bright color. That way it's very much visible, right? So you don't want to make a mistake of doing something like this, putting similar colors together, right? So yeah, so five things you look out for, right, in terms of legibility: the font size, CTA button size, image size, your spacing, and then contrast, right? So if you can ace these five things, you are good to go. Your emails are going to convert way better than most emails out there. All right. So yeah, if you have any question, you can put it down in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. All right.